Alright guys, what's up? So today we're in a 2017 BRZ and I guess we're going to be having some fun today. Let me start off first with the new features of the BRZ. So basically they upgraded the outside and the interior of the BRZ. So for the exterior of the BRZ, they changed the front bumper. They added new fog lights and new headlights. And they also added new taillights. And they also added new wheels. Now for the interior, they added a brand new display where your gauges are, and they also added a new steering wheel. They also changed up automated climate control buttons, and they also changed the seats and added like a new BRZ logo to them, and they also added better padding to the doors and other interior pieces. Alright, so let's start up the car and see how it drives. This car just turns on to life. So as many of you know, I already have a 2013 BRZ. So I'll basically be telling you guys some of the differences between this BRZ and mine. And I've also driven a 2016 BRZ, so I can also tell you guys some of the differences between that. From the 2013 to 2016 BRZs, there wasn't really much of a difference. The exteriors were basically the same, and the interiors were like slightly different, but they're about the same car. But for this car, they've actually changed a lot of the car. They have this new display on the gauges that basically tells you like your average miles per hour, the total distance you've gone. It also tells you like your average like torque and RPM. Like, let me see, I can check this out right now. It has lap and stopwatch, so if you're on a track, you can track the car and it'll tell you how fast like your lap time was. Let's see what else it has. It has lap time, it has like your average torque, and it has like your max speed and everything on it. So that's pretty cool. It's a new display and it's a really new feature. I kind of like it. It also looks a lot more fancy, I should say. For like a sports car, you don't really like get these really fancy features, but for this car they added this feature and it makes it look a lot like more like expensive than the car is, because this car probably goes for around 30K. Let's see what else they've added. So the new steering wheel, a lot of people have been complaining about the steering wheel for this car, but honestly I love the new steering wheel. Like it has buttons so you can change the volume and change the songs. It also has like a telephone, so if you want to like pick up a call, you can just use the steering wheel. It also has the new display, so you can control the new display on the steering wheel, and I just really like the feel of the new steering wheel. It just feels really smooth, and like the steering wheel on the old BRZs, they're kind of like the leather they have, like it gets really hot in the sun, and like you can like really see like the leather coming off. But for this one, I feel like this one will be a lot more sturdier and won't like be damaged as much from sun damage. Alright, let's also hear the horn. Let's see if they fix the horn yet. No, they haven't fixed the horn yet, so Subaru, you gotta work on that. Overall, the shifts on this car are really smooth. It's a lot smoother than my BRZ. I feel like the clutch on this car is also a lot lighter than my BRZ. I don't know if it's just because it's a brand new car and a brand new clutch, or maybe I'm just not used to it, but it feels a lot more smoother than my car. For a stock car, I actually think this car sounds really good. Like, compared to my car, when my car was stock, you could barely hear anything, but I feel like this car, like you can hear the engine a lot more than like a normal stock BRZ. So I feel like, I don't know, it might just be my feeling, but I think it sounds really good for a stock car. But you can still add an exhaust, I think would be a really good mod if you want to change up the car and make it sound a little bit better. But I do admit this car does sound really good. Like, I don't know why, but for a stock car, this sounds really good. Like, my car has an exhaust and I love the sound of it, but like this has to sound a lot better than my car was stock, because it just sounds really well. The brand new display, I like the new display, but I'm just not used to it yet because I'm used to my display. But this new display is really nice. It has a really nice screen and it's easy to touch. Like on my screen, like when you touch my BRZ screens, it's really hard. You have to press really hard, but on this one you can just touch it lightly and you'll be fine. Another feature I like that they added is they added these really nice like carbon fiber trim pieces. They added it to the door panels, and they also added other parts of the car. They just changed the new interior. Like they added these padding pieces that weren't in the old cars, so it just makes the car look a lot better, in my opinion. So for those of you wondering how this car compares to the older BRZs and how it drives, basically it drives about the same as the older BRZs, but it just feels a lot more smoother than the older ones. So if you guys are looking into buying a BRZ and comparing them, I think you should go with this one because this one's just a lot smoother and it's a lot newer too. Like for this car, what Subaru did was they took what everyone would mod on their BRZs and they just kind of did it for you. So they changed the headlights, they changed the tail lights, they even upgraded the front bumper, and they upgraded the interior. So basically Subaru just did what everyone was modding. Everyone was changing their tail lights, everyone was changing their headlights, and they just did that for you. So I think a really good question would be, if you were to pick between a brand new 2017 BRZ or if you were to pick from like a 2016 used BRZ, and let's say the 2016s probably go for around 25K now and this one's 30K new. So would you either pick a 2016 for 25K and then have 5K to do with mods, or would you just pick a brand new 2017 for 30K and just have the brand new 30K? So answer that in the comments below. I really want to know what you guys think. If it was my choice, I think I would still go with the 2017 BRZ just because some of the interior pieces you just can't get from aftermarket parts. Like the heads-up display and this wheel, like you're not going to be able to get that through aftermarket. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys are thinking about getting a BRZ, just know that you're gonna have a lot of people like staring at your car. Like right now, the people behind us are just staring like at the car, and you can just tell that they're really like interested in the car. So this car attracts a lot of attention because it just looks so different, especially the 2017 because of its brand new look. I feel like you'll get a lot more stares at your car. So if you guys are wondering like what's similar about this car compared to the old models, it's basically there's a lot that's similar. Like the interior, like they upgraded the interior, but basically the setup of the interior is the same, like is the exact same setup, this same like seat placements and everything. And engine wise, this engine does make 5 more horsepower, but as far from driving it right now, I can't really feel the difference. Like the trunk space is the same. Like the trunk space in this car is actually really good. Like you can fit a lot in this car. Like for a sports car, you think you wouldn't be able to fit a lot, but for this car you can fit a lot, especially since you can put the back seats down. You can fit a lot more stuff. And the doors are the same. You have keyless entry, so when you go to the door and touch it with your hand and you have the key in your pocket, you can open and close the door without having to lock it. The shifter's the same. The climate control is basically the same. They just upgraded the knobs. These knobs do feel a lot better, but it's basically the same thing. So there's everything about this car is the same, except it's just a little bit more upgraded. If you guys are thinking about getting like a GT86 compared to the new 2017 BRZs, if you're looking for like more of an interior, like a better interior, then you should go with the BRZ because the BRZ comes with a way better interior. Keyless entry, it has this display, it has a better radio, heat seats. So the interior, the seats are really nice in this car too. So basically you're paying for the interior for the 2017 BRZ versus just a cheaper price for the same car for the GT86. The bumpers for the GT86, they just don't look as nice as the 2017 BRZs in my opinion, because the FRS bumpers were really nice, but when they made the GT86, they made it like a really awkward frown face, and it just doesn't look as nice as the 2017 BRZs. For the 2017 BRZs, they added like a really nice like cut in between the bumper, like between the fog lights and the lights, and it just looks really like aggressive, and I just think it adds to the look a lot better. So it just looks really nice in my opinion. The thing that I think is a little weird about this car is, if you look at the engine, they like made it red for some reason, and you would think it would look cool, but like in person it just looks really weird. Like it just doesn't match, because you have like all the engine pieces and you just have this like one red piece in the middle, and it just doesn't look right. But I guess that's not really a big deal, but it's just kind of weird that for me that they added that. Another thing that I wish Subaru did kind of fix were the seats, because the seats in this car, like when it's really hot and your back's sweaty, like they just don't breathe, and they still like didn't fix that. So these seats still don't like breathe well, so when your back's sweaty, like your back's still gonna stay sweaty throughout the car ride. So I wish Subaru had like worked on that better and like try to fix that. But I really do like the seats on this car because they have like the BRZ logo, so it just looks really nice in comparison. So if you guys know BRZs, you know they handle really well, and this 2017 BRZ just handles just as well. Like no matter like wherever you point this thing, it'll go. You have like no worries, and it just feels really well in the handling. And the steering wheel just adds to the feeling, because the steering wheel just feels really nice in your hands. downshifts in this car are nice, clean, and simple. You can just rev match it yourself. Just smooth. So back seats in this car, basically there's not much room. You guys know that from other BRZs, but you can still use the back seats, fold them down, and have more trunk space, so that's a good feature. Also, this car has push to start, so you don't even need a key. You just come in, push the button, turns it on. Really nice. And the keys for this car are really nice. I'm gonna try to get some footage of the key so you guys can check it out. It's just like really nice and clean compared to my key. My key's just ugly. You guys can't really see this right now, but like when you pull up next to cars, like they have this car has like a new daytime running lights around the eyes of the car, around the headlights. And like when you pull up like behind like a black car or a car, you can just see them in the reflection. It just really looks really nice. So when you're driving this car on the road, you just know that like it just looks sick as fuck because the new daytime running lights are really nice. Over, am I allowed to gun it?
Yeah, go ahead. No.
All right, let's check out the power. So I don't know if you guys caught that because the memory card was full, so it might have cut off. But I basically 0 to 60 this car, and basically the 2017 BRZ, they changed the gear ratios for this car, so you can't get to 60 in second gear. So in second gear you can only get to about 55. So you can definitely feel that this car's like 0 to 60 time is a lot slower. But overall, since the gear ratio has changed, after 60, I feel like this car is a lot more fun because there's a lot more torque here. But you can definitely feel that it's a lot slower from 0 to 60. But this car also does have a backup camera. So my 2013 BRZ didn't have a backup camera, but I think after that year they added backup camera. So this car does have a backup camera, but I think the backup camera on this car is a lot nicer because it has it tells you like the distance because it has like the green red lines. And also when you turn the wheel, doesn't it turn as well? Yeah, so when you're turning your car, like while reversing, the lines also turn. And like on the 2016, I don't think they turned as well. I think it just stayed in its place. So that's a nice feature they added. I will tell you one thing I don't like about this car is the new trunk. Like it's really difficult. Like when you open it, it just kind of flies open, and then when you want to close it, you have to like close it really hard. Like on my car, like with the trunk, you can just kind of like push it down and it'll close. But on this one, you have to actually like force it down. So that's kind of annoying that they added that to this car. It makes the trunk a lot like harder to open and close. But it's not that big of a deal. I did mention that that the gearbox for this car is a lot smoother, so that's a really good feature. Because on my car, like when I'm trying to shift, like when I'm slowing down and I'm trying to shift from like third to second, sometimes I just have to like force it into gear. But for this car, like I've been driving it for maybe like an hour or so, like I haven't had that issue at all. Like it's just so smooth. It's just a really smooth clutch and gearbox. So that was my review for the 2017 BRZ. If you guys like it, put a like up, hit the like button, and if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. And also put in the comments that question I asked earlier about if you were to get a brand new 2017 BRZ, or if you were to get a used 2016 BRZ for 25K and then have the 5K to spend on mods, which would you pick? Thanks for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe. And I also want to give a shout out to my boy Delbert for letting me drive his BRZ. Alright, thanks guys, see you next time.
Dude, I still need to take a shit.
I thought you went.
I did half of it.